You're live with BBC News. Now let's go back to one of our main stories today, and that is, of course, the COP28 climate summit in Dubai, where King Charles used his speech to warn that the world is dreadfully far off track when it comes to tackling global warming. He said he hoped the two-week event would act as a critical turning point for the planet. Well as governments, environmental charities, community groups, think tanks, businesses and faith groups are all attending the summit. This is all about changing the conversation and the actions people take when it comes to climate change. Well, joining me now is Pierre-Jean, who's what's known as an EU Climate Pact ambassador. His role is to inform, inspire and support climate policy and action in communities and networks. That's quite a title and quite a mission. I note, first of all, that you're not at COP, you're here. Why is that?
First of all, I'd say that one big part of my role is actually trying to go grassroots and to understand better what's happening on the ground in the country normally that I'm working in France, but also in other countries, even outside of the European Union, because I'm trying really hard to actually get to work on post-Brexit green transition, on also all sorts of green policies that the EU is working on, and also to foster a different voice and to actually include people that are not usually included in climate narratives and climate discussions.
Who might those people be then?
Usually young people are fairly underrepresented in these formal processes, especially if we look at COP. There's been a good trend upon the years where young people have been included more and more. But now we also need to look at broader civil society standpoint, academia and a whole lot of other actors really need to be involved for policies to be made, not only for them, but with them.
You talk about young people being more engaged when it comes to the issues of climate change. I mean, one of the most well-known flag bearers is, of course, Greta Thunberg. What do you think about the work that she is doing and has done?
I feel that Greta is doing a great work. I feel also that we might have a bit of a different approach. While I'm not at COP, I'm not boycotting COP as well. I don't think she is, to my understanding, but that's also a big thing. At the moment, where people might not want to engage in the COP processes, I feel like it's really important to understand that if young people, if civil society, if people are not present at COP, they won't be represented, and it's an open door for business interests who might not be in the interest of climate to be more represented and therefore to influence more on the decisions made there.
Does everyone need to get on a plane though and go to COP? I mean, that's one of the biggest criticisms, is that the number of people who fly from all over the world expending carbon miles, even if they say they're offsetting it, that's dealing with the problem decades away, and actually perhaps fewer people should be going in the first place, and obviously noted that you're not there.
I feel like we are getting close to 100,000 people going to this edition of the COP, if I'm not mistaken. And it's true that it's a lot of people. And in this case, I truly believe that people need to work on the ground where they are to actually foster these climate policies and to work properly to initiate climate change and changes to legislation, policy and to action overall.
Before we have to end this interview, it says that one of the roles of the Climate Pact ambassador is to lead by example. So tell me things that you do personally to ensure that you are doing your bit for the planet.
I'm trying to do one very simple thing, which is to engage people in a broader setting, to engage in a citizen-led manner on climate change, trying to reflect by one's own experiences, one's own background.
Do you fly much?
I reduced quite a lot my flying habits, and now I fly way less, take the train way more.
Anything else? What else do you do practically? Because a lot of us could say, well, we'll all be climate ambassadors, we'll still get on planes, but we'll just tell everyone else to be green. So what else do you do?
I feel like it's very important to also take both individual actions and collective actions. In my case, for example, I'm slowly becoming vegetarian. I used to be vegan a few years ago, but now going back to vegetarianism. It's quite a big thing. Meat consumption is one of the biggest CO2 emitters. And now, I feel like that is one individual action that can be taken to reduce one's carbon footprint. And also it needs to be taken in conjunction with bigger structural changes made by the enterprise sector and by government.
OK, Pierre-Jean, one of the EU's Climate Pact ambassadors, thank you very much for joining us.